There was no evacuation. I was lying there. I took and broke some sticks to use as crutches under my arms.
Surrendering is at least some guarantee that you will stay alive.
Very little.
Yes, we saw corpses.
There are plenty of all sorts of phrases there.
All sorts, yes, plenty.
I agree.
I agree to record the interview. How did you end up in the war?
He signed the contract. There is no work in the Kemerovo region. All the mines are closing. So there was nowhere else to go. And he signed the contract.
I signed the contract on February 29th, 2024. Well, there were disagreements at home. I also had a drink. I signed the contract. And when I sobered up and realized the situation, it was already too late and I had to go. What happened next? After that, I left. So I signed the contract back home, and following orders, I went to the military unit 01007 in Totskoye, and from there, it turns out, they sent us here to the DPR, to the occupied Donetsk region. Yes, to the occupied Donetsk region. And that's where I started my service. I used to work as a vehicle driver. Well, specifically, I was responsible for refueling all the heavy equipment, so yeah, just a driver. Then, on April 22nd, it turns out they suddenly brought us all here, and we stayed until the 14th. Yes, that is right, we were stuck here until April 14th. On April 14th, I went on leave, well, my second leave, and I didn't return from leave. I went to Sochi, since the contract had been signed for a year anyway. Well, we were all deceived. The contract supposedly continues to be in effect until the end of the SMO. Well, I don't agree with that, and I didn't go back. I hired a lawyer, an attorney who tried to help me. And you?
I wanted to sign a contract so I wouldn't have to participate in combat operations, well, in a different unit, that is, in Russia. Well, where I did my conscript service, I wanted to sign a contract there, but they said, we aren't signing any such contracts right now, only for the SMO. And, well, my contract had already been signed, and they sent me. First, I flew to Yekaterinburg, from Yekaterinburg to Rostov. In Rostov, they transferred us to buses and took us across the border into the Luhansk People's Republic.
It is correct to say occupied Luhansk region.
Well, occupied Luhansk region. They brought us there and changed our clothes. The next day they arrived, and I was taken to the 71st Separate Special Purpose Battalion. We spent a couple of days there, went through training, and then we went to the Pokrovsk direction to take up a position in a tree line and report on incoming fire and flights. That's where I got wounded. I mean, there were drops. I got hit, in the torso, head, concussion. My whole leg was smashed, shattered below the knee, and that's it. My leg was just dangling. There was no evacuation. I was lying there. They said that you carry out the mission for a month, then you go back, and, there's another mission there. But that didn't happen because I got wounded. I lay there in the trench for another 2.5 months. There was no evacuation. Then they said, get yourself out. I broke some sticks to use as crutches under my arms and started to get out. I walked for 5 or 6 days. I returned to Selidov. There they picked me up, took me to the hospital, and took all the x-rays. My final destination turned out to be Ulyanovsk, and I lay there for 2 weeks. They wanted to operate on my leg, but then, as the bones started to knit together, they said, we can't do it now. They said, though, go on leave, and when you come back, we'll break it. Well, we'll break the leg and put an Elizarov apparatus on it, everything as it should be. But none of that happened. I was bounced around hospitals and never did get the help I needed. The leg healed on its own. Then I got fed up with everything. All this running around to these hospitals, the stress. Well, I went on a 2-week bender and they sent me to Sochi. Well, I was in Sochi for 2 weeks. Well, I sort of came back and they transferred me to the 15th Storm Brigade.
Were you an infantryman in both units?
I was a scout in the 71st there. Well, from May 9th until somewhere in July, I was out. Well, I was away from combat operations for 2.5 months.
Did you stay in Sochi for a long time? 8 months. And how did you get by? Well, I was earning a living. I was driving a car. The traffic police stopped me. They wanted to write up a report, but I had already been put on the federal wanted list. I was on the federal wanted list. They handed me over to the military police. They brought me to the commandant's office, and from the commandant's office, I was sent to Samara. Well, the 15th Brigade, it turns out, the Storm Detachment. And they sent us to this. From Samara, they brought us to Sishevka. In Sikevka, we were sent, well, to where the brigade is based, this 15th Brigade. And there we underwent training at the firing range. And after the training at the range, we were sent on a combat mission.
And how are the assaults for you? They don't consider you a human being there.
There is no goodwill at all, only
mockery.
That's it. You go forward and carry out the mission. You must complete the mission in any state, regardless of whether you're sick, lame, or whatever.
Did you go on the mission together? Yes.
Yes.
Well, the mission was to take the tree line, to reach the tree line.
Well, to reach the point, secure it, and report the situation.
How long were you at the point? Second, fourth?
Yes, 3-4 days.
How did you get captured?
As it turns out, we unexpectedly encountered the Ukrainian forces while we were moving through the area. There was, well, a skirmish occurred. They offered us to surrender.
We agreed.
We agreed.
What about the supplies in the Russian army? Well, at first they said we had to buy things, but since we didn't have any money, we couldn't buy them. And they issued us all old stuff. The cost, well, a phone there.
Well, we were told to prepare about 40,000 rubles that we would need to buy things. But as for the supplies, we had the winter uniform, a full ammunition load, and our assault rifle. There was also a helmet, body armor, and that's about it. Ponchos were provided, wool socks were issued to us, and we even got some warm insoles to help with the cold.
We actually bought those items.
No, they issued 2 pairs of warm insoles.
A radio.
Yes. A radio, a phone, a power bank, and a poncho. Well, you'll need an initial ration pack that should be enough to last you for a day or two, at the very least.
Did you also take out the plates when you were going on a mission? We took them out because it's heavy, it's impossible to walk.
No, I didn't take the plates out. I made it all the way like that. It was hard, but I still went with the plates.
Weren't you scared to go into captivity?
Well, honestly, it's much scarier to go back because you really don't know how the higher-ups are going to react to the news, and it's just an uncertain situation.
We definitely wouldn't have.
There is no certainty that anyone will understand you, and indeed, yes, you will stay alive. But surrendering is at least some kind of guarantee that you will stay alive. A minimal guarantee.
Did you see corpses on the way? A lot.
Yes, we saw corpses.
There are all sorts of them there.
All sorts, yes, there are plenty.
Did the picture match what they say on TV and what you saw in Ukraine? It's the complete opposite.
I changed my worldview a long time ago. That it's all not the right word. Everything, all the propaganda that was before this, everything they say on TV, it's not even close to reality, so to speak. Well, it diverges from reality. Well, even in terms of like the protection of Donbass and all that other stuff. In principle, well, I don't know, what is there? Who to protect here from what? What are they protecting them from?